Hello, my name is Lizzie, and this is Lizzie's Literary Life, and today we are doing my May Tipsy Wrap Up. So, today, this has a story behind it. So, last weekend, I was hanging out with some BookTube besties. We did a little meetup, and you will see a video that I filmed with them coming in a couple weeks. But we were in upstate New York, and the last night we were together, we went to this brewery, and I was driving home right after, so I couldn't have a taste, or I could have a taste, but I couldn't have a drink. So I bought these strawberry rhubarb ciders, which just sound incredible. So I am so excited to taste this. I love the strawberry rhubarb flavor. My mom used to make baked goods that were strawberry rhubarb all the time. So this hopefully will taste nostalgic and tasty. And I'm excited. So I haven't even opened it yet. So, Ooh. I like it. It's way less sweet than I was expecting, but I do really like it. I was just drinking Simply Spiked lemonades, and those are really sweet, so this tastes very tart in comparison, but I really like it. Yum, 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 yum. So that's my drink. This is the thing I do every month where I drink a fun drink, and I go over all the books that I read in the previous month. And first, we got to go over stats. Stats, as you know, are serious business, so we put our drink down. I read 14 books in the month of May, which is, I think, my best reading month so far. Let me verify that. Okay, tied with January for my best reading month of the year so far. 14 books, a total of 5,021 pages, for an average pages per book of 358.6. My average audiobook length was 14.7 hours, which I feel like is long. My average rating, not that bad this month, was a 3.5, which my average ratings have been bad lately, so this is not too bad. It took me an average of 6.9 days to finish each book, for an average pages per day of 161. The total time I spent reading was 70 hours. That one always blows my mind. And that's an average time per book of just over 5 hours. But my pages per hour was just over 101. 28% of the books I read were in series, and 14% of them were rereads. If you look at my genre pie, I'll just lean over a little bit. The majority of the books I read this month were contemporary. That includes some literary fiction. I don't have a separate category for literary fiction. If it's historical, it goes into historical. If it's not, it goes in contemporary. I also had a good chunk of fantasy, followed by a couple of different things. Some historical, some romance, a nonfiction, and a memoir. My age group pie, we've got mostly adult with some young adult. Format-wise, just exactly half on audio, which again, I feel like that's been a trend this year. I feel like I've been listening to more audiobooks this year. And then the ebook physical split, a little more ebook than physical. As for where I acquired these books, mostly from the library, a good chunk from Everand, but I also read 2 books that I owned this month, which I don't know if I've read an owned book yet this year, which is bad. Maybe I read 1. So, good job to me for reading my owned books, at least a little bit. I'm hoping to do that a lot more in June. If you saw my Wonderthon TBR, a bunch of owned books on there. My ratings, all very consistent. I read 5 3-star books, 3 3.5-star books, and 6 4-star books. So all very middle of the road, but middle good. Not bad. Middle good. The lowest being a 3-star is pretty good for me this year. We didn't have any 4.5s or 5s, but it's okay. We'll get them in June. We will. So those are my stats. and we're going to go through the books that I read. That's nice. It's like, I don't know how to describe taste at all, but I like it. The first book that I read in May was Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. I'm doing like a little, just with my friends, a little book, what's it called? Read along. We're reading these together. Buddy read. We're reading these together. And I liked this one. I didn't like it as much as the first book. The first book was actually my favorite in the trilogy, which I think is unusual for people. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It's very much a journey book. This is the third book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, which is the first trilogy in the Realm of the Elderlings. It's a saga. I've talked about them before. We're following Fitz. He's a royal bastard, royal assassin situation. And this is very much a journey book. And I didn't mind it. I thought it was good. It didn't capture my emotions or my attention as much as the first one did. And as much as, spoiler alert, Ship of Magic is definitely capturing my emotions and my attention. So that's good. I'm not going to say much about that. It's the third book in a series. I don't have a lot to say, but I did enjoy it. And I'm excited to continue. I'm already continuing. I'm halfway through Ship of Magic, which is the next book, or the first book in the next trilogy. And then I read Beautiful Chaos by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. This is a book for my Throwback Book Club that I host with Danielle from Danielle Reads. In April and May. No, in March and April. Oops. In March and April, technically, we read the Beautiful Creatures series, and I read the first 2 in April and the second 2 in the beginning of May, right before the live show. Beautiful Chaos, I gave 3 stars. This one was not as bad as the second book, Beautiful Darkness, which I hated. This one was fine. Do I remember what it was really about in particular? Not really. It's the third book in a series. And I kind of whirlwinded this series a little bit, and then we did the live show. If you have nostalgia about this series, I would recommend watching the live show because we had a lot of fun. I'll link it down below. But I don't know. I'm just going to go through these books really quickly because it's hot and I want to not spend a lot of time doing this. So that's the vibe today. And then I read Blue is the Warmest Color by Julie Moreau. This was it's a graphic novel that the movie is based on, that my partner Abby got me for Christmas, and we had this like back and forth of like, I'm never gonna read it, and then because I kept putting it off. But if you're a book person who watches BookTube, you know that this books stay on the TBR shelf for a while. But I finally was like, I'm just gonna read it right now, and I did, and I liked it. I gave it 3 stars. There were definitely things in terms of like, it's a romance type story, graphic novel, queer story. These books I feel like I read a long time ago, and I don't know. But it was a little weird because one of the characters was like in high school, like 16, and the other character was older, and that was a little iffy for me, and I feel like for a lot of people. And I just am not the biggest graphic novel reader. Like, I struggle, and it's my fault. It's not the book's fault. But I struggle to connect to stories that are told in pictures because I know that I go too fast, and I try to slow down, but I just, like, I don't know. But I did enjoy it, and I am very pleased that Abby got it for me, and I'm excited to watch the movie with her. We haven't done that yet. I think the movie ages up one of the characters or ages down one of them so that they're actually closer to the same age and not like this weird age gap with like a minor. But that was really my main issue with it, was just that portion of it, and the fact that that was not like talked about as a negative thing, when I feel like it kind of maybe should have been. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say. We're going through these fast. And then I read Beautiful Redemption, book 4 in the Beautiful Creature series. And this one I gave 3.5 stars. I guess I like this one better. I think maybe it was I don't remember. I was going to try to like pull something out of my brain, of like, maybe it was a good conclusion or something, but honestly, I really don't remember. So we're moving on. And then we get into some women's prize reads. So my women's prize reads, I'm not going to talk about because they're all in my women's prize vlog, which I will link up in this corner right here. I will link up in this corner right here, but I read The Wren by Anne Enright, which was 3.5 stars. I read River East, River West by Aubrey Lescure, which was 3 stars, and I read Restless Dolly Maunder by Kate Grenville, which was 3 stars. And then I read How to Be Perfect, the correct answer to every moral question by Michael Schur. This is by the screenwriter for The Good Place, or the creator of The Good Place, and he also wrote for The Office and Parks and Rec, I think. This is a moral philosophy book, but it's funny and fun because obviously it's written by a TV comedian. I gave this 4 stars. I thought it was good. It was like it started off really basic. So this was one, I read this because I'm doing this nonfiction buzzwordathon challenge. I've explained it in previous wrap-ups, so I won't right now, but the buzzword for May was every, and this, in the subtitle, it says every. The correct answer to every moral question. So I read this for that. I listened to it on audio. The audiobook was fun because they had actors from The Good Place do like little segments of it. But I enjoyed it. It started off really basic. It started off like, what is the trolley problem type basic. And that I was like, is this what this book is going to be? But then it got really nuanced and really good. And it was like very, like, here are the moral philosophy theories, and here are specific situations that everyday normal situations that, like, here's what each of these theories would say about the situation. And I felt like it was really effective in helping me understand these theories, but also like laugh a little and think about situations in my everyday life. I thought it was good. I genuinely would recommend it. If you have watched The Good Place, for sure. Even if you haven't, it's not actually that related to The Good Place. Like, they make passing references, but it's you definitely don't have to have watched The Good Place to read it. And if you're interested in moral philosophy at all, I thought it was really fun. And then the other book that I read with every in the title, because I was choosing between these two, and then I was like, why don't I just read both, was Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This is a memoir. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was good, but I feel like the draw to this book, like the what's it called? What's it called when it's like the reason you go to something? Like the draw, I don't know. Anyway, the reason people like this book, I feel like, is because it's so relatable, and it was not relatable to me as someone who was not in a relationship until I immediately went into a long-term relationship at the age of 19. It just was not my situation, and so I didn't find it relatable. But I did enjoy it. It was interesting, and it was well written. I just didn't connect to it because it wasn't my experience, and it not that you have to relate to a book like a memoir for it to be good or impactful, but it didn't feel impactful to me because I felt like the reason it was impactful for people was because it was relatable, and it wasn't relatable to me. And that's what I'm going to say on that one. But I liked it. It was good. And then I read Writers and Lovers by Lily King, which was the pick for the Shelf This Book Club for May. That is hosted by Is Bailey Reading. And this book was chosen by Kayla Ray Reed. We were talking about this because Bailey and Kayla were both on the trip last weekend, and we were talking about this book a little bit. Neither of them really liked it. We were talking about it a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I can't remember a single thing that happened in that book, and I read it not that long ago, but I did really like it. I gave it 4 stars. I was vibing the whole time. But can I remember a single thing that happened? No. So we're just going to move on. And then I read Rosalind Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. This is a romance set on a baking show. Rosalind Palmer is our main character. She's a single mom. She has a 10-year-old daughter. She goes on this baking show because baking is her hobby. It's Great British Bake Off, but it's not called that. It's called Bake Expectations, which is very funny. and there's a romance, and she's bisexual, and the main relationship is with a man, but her bisexuality is relevant to the story. So it is has queer themes, which I really enjoyed. And I liked this a lot. It was 4 stars. It was a really solid romance. I was just kind of beat-bopping along, and I enjoyed it. Let's move on. Soldier Sailor by Claire Kilroy. I read in my Women's Prize video. That I gave 4 stars. Ordinary Human Failings by Megan Nolan. I read in my Women's Prize video. That I gave 4 stars. And the final book that I read in May was My Fair Brady by Brian D. Kennedy, which is in a vlog coming next week. So I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm not even going to tell you what I rated it. And that's all the book. Why did I hold this up with both hands? It's because I had a And that's all the books that I read in May 2024. Here's to June. It's June 7th, and I haven't finished a book yet in June, but June is going to be an excellent reading month because it is the month of Wonderthon. If you don't know about Wonderthon, I have to give it a little plug. Just check my last couple videos on this channel. I will leave the announcement linked right there. It's a readathon. It's super fun. It's super crazy, super chaotic, super awesome, and we're going to have the best time. So join us. And that's all I have to say for today's video. Please give this a like if you liked it. Comment down below something that you read in May, or if you've read any of these books and have thoughts on them, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one coming very soon. Bye.